Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Thank you all so very much for joining us. We hope the show looks and sounds all right for you. You have found EP Live. This is where we assemble a whole bunch of content for you in a nice, tasty snack of an hour-long show-ish. Sometimes we go a little bit over. We've got lots of great news to talk about today, and I want to give a special shout out to my buddy Blake Siefkin, who you guys don't see on camera, but he is running around pulling his hair out, making sure all the wires are plugged in and everything is working, and it drives him crazy when things start to crackle and not work. But we're getting this, and we're having a lot of fun. Let's get started with your rundown. A huge and very unexpected rumor has come in that could drastically change the entire game industry. In a bid to get more exclusive games on the Xbox, Microsoft might be interested in acquiring big third-party game publishers. Citing unnamed sources, Polygon reports that Microsoft has had talks about buying the likes of Electronic Arts, Half-Life maker Valve, and the PUBG Corporation, which owns Battlegrounds. It's unclear how serious these talks are, and Polygon itself says that the idea is astounding and even unthinkable. If Microsoft really is going to buy one or more of these companies, it would have a huge repercussion across the entire game industry for years to come. Their last big acquisition was Minecraft developer Mojang in 2014, but buying EA or Valve would obviously be a much bigger deal. Still, it seems pretty far-fetched, so consider all of this a rumor until further notice. And the way that we're going to do this now is I'm going to go through the news, and we're going to have a nice discussion about it later. So if you've got comments or questions or thoughts on this, write them down, let us know, because we're going to include them at the end of our rundown sequence here. Now, DC and Warner Brothers are going to explore Superman's backstory again. Warner Brothers Television has greenlit a new live-action TV series called Metropolis. It will serve as a prequel to the familiar Superman story, although it's not going as far back as the last prequel series, Smallville, and it doesn't sound like we'll be seeing much of Superman at first. The logline for the show is that it will take place in Metropolis before Clark Kent dons the Superman persona and focus on reporter Lois Lane and the villainous Lex Luthor as the main characters. The show is being produced by John Stevens and Danny Cannon, who also produced the Batman prequel series Gotham. The new Metropolis show won't air on conventional TV, though. Warner Brothers is making it for their upcoming DC-specific streaming service, which is also getting the new live-action Teen Titans series. Metropolis has already been given a first-season order, and it will premiere in 2019. Yet another new Superman prequel series, Krypton, is coming to the Sci-Fi Channel this March. Getting busy in the DC universe. Now, speaking of superheroes, Marvel has released the first good look at their finest new superhero movie, because the first trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp landed this morning. You know the drill. Paul Rudd plays the size-shifting superhero, and this time around, Evangeline Lilly will join him as his heroic partner, the Wasp. The trailer itself is pretty quick and quickly cut, although it does give us a good look at some of the cool action set pieces and size-altering comedy that audiences will get in the final film. Ant-Man and the Wasp hits theaters this July, making it one of 3 Marvel movies hitting theaters this year, following Black Panther, which we're hearing great things about, and Avengers: Infinity War. It's crazy that we get a Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer before Solo. I don't know what's going on over there at Disney. The Great War is finally coming to an end in Battlefield 1. EA and DICE have announced that the long-awaited 4th and final expansion for the game will deploy next month, known fittingly as Apocalypse. The DLC gives players 5 new multiplayer maps, each based around some of the biggest and most bloody conflicts during the war, including, I don't know how to say this, Blake, Passchendaele, and the Battle of the Somme. Like previous expansions, this one will also feature new vehicles and weapons. DICE says that all of the Apocalypse will be bigger and more over the top than previous expansions. And since this will be the last one, it sounds like this is their way of going out with a bang. Battlefield 1 was first released in late 2016, and since then, DICE has been mired in a bit of controversy surrounding their more recent game, Star Wars Battlefront 2. The next Battlefield game is rumored to be already in the works and will be a 3rd entry in the Bad Company series. We'll let you know if new intel comes in. Now, is that confirmed? Have they confirmed that it's Bad Company 3? Because I just did the Buried Treasure, and I talked that there was speculation.
It's just a rumor at this point.
Just a rumor. Okay. I'm psyched though. I love Bad Company, as you saw in my my Buried Treasure Very cool series, so it'd be great if DICE went back to there. But let's talk a little bit about the Xbox maneuvers, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that with our guest today, Steve Tilley, who I'm going to have us join the show in a second here. But I want to get your feedback, your comments. If you've got any messages or comments or questions about your thoughts on Microsoft's moves or Warner Brothers' moves with the DC television franchises that they've got cooking, let's hear them. From my vantage point, I feel like if Microsoft is making any big, massive moves, like with Valve or with Electronic Arts, that's less a play about IP and more a play to start moving in the direction of becoming a true Netflix for games. They're starting to do that already, but if they acquired Origin or Steam, they're pushing into a whole new stratosphere. And it kind of makes sense if you're a huge corporate entity that's got that much market cap and that much money at your disposal. Kind of makes sense that you're thinking along those terms. If they bought EA, of course, they would also have this huge archive of interactive assets, which would help bolster the Xbox One lineup and all of their sort of Xbox gaming initiative for years to come. It's a crazy idea, but it does make a little bit of sense. It's pretty crazy. Any thoughts on that? Anybody jump in with a comment or anything? I guess you're watching a whole bunch of screens too. Okay, help us out because there are lots of comments, but if you've got one that you want me to talk about, okay, well, Leighton JT says, get the F out, MSEA, WTF, OMG. So he's using every internet term he can think of to be excited about this. Would you guys be stoked? Do you think that this would be a good move for the video game industry, or would this be catastrophic for the video game industry? Be a very interesting play. As far as a Superman show that doesn't focus on Superman, I kind of phased out on Gotham, and I know I've got some people that are watching right now that I think Fred Wicks is a big fan of the Gotham TV show. He's messaged me a couple times about that show. I like the thoughts around Gotham and the idea around Gotham, and the casting is actually pretty good, but because we don't get to Batman, it feels like they're trying to do everything but show Batman. And they're just like doing a little song and dance and say, well, see, this is how Batman's good. And instead of just like making it really an awesome show and giving us this young Bruce Wayne trying to like fully be Batman, we're sort of half-assed getting there. I feel like, and if Metropolis does this, the answer isn't to just employ a cast that's going to be the same cast year after year, unless you start to put some different kinds of makeup effects on there. But I think it's to jump forward in time with every season, almost create an anthology type of situation where we can move forward. And Gotham would be an incredible show if every year they were like, 5 years into the future or something like that, and we got to see a younger Batman, and then the following season a little bit more mature Batman. It would be the same thing with a Metropolis show. I'll watch it. I want to give it a shot for sure. And wait a second. We have season 4 has done some Batman. Okay, all right. I've heard that they've done some stuff that's edging a lot closer, but I wasn't that fired up on Gotham. I kind of got sort of dulled by it, so I stepped away. But JBJ Blaze and TFA is saying I should go back and check that out. We've got Samian111 saying Microsoft buying EA would be really bad in terms of monopolizing licensed sports titles, even if it does mean MS can revive NFL fever. That's never going to happen, or NHL rivals with EA Sports backing them. They'll never do that. They'll keep that exclusivity license. Here's what happens, I think, if EA makes a play like this, and I'll talk about this with Steve. I'm dying to get his thoughts in here, is that if they do something like this, Microsoft becomes agnostic. They are totally moving away from keeping people locked into a platform that they have. They've taken big strides and steps that way already with their Play Anywhere initiative, but if they open that up to a massive catalog that they instantly acquire, that suddenly makes them a publisher across a bunch of different platforms. I believe that Sony's probably thinking along those terms for the future as well. The only one that won't is Nintendo. They're going to definitely sort of stick to their guns and say, this is our category. We're not sort of engaging in a movie division and a television division, and we don't sell PC operating systems. We sell the interactive toy fun stuff that we've always done and so come to us for that. But Sony and Microsoft, I could see them shifting and partnering, honestly, in some crazy ways that are more about exponential audience engagement than the sort of current platform divisiveness allows for. But it's going to be very interesting. JBJ Blaze also says, I agree with others on the internet that Steam would totally not be acquired by Microsoft, but EA, maybe they could straighten them out. Maybe they could, I wouldn't be surprised for PUBG Corp, though. I don't know if they're going to do PUBG. I mean, I feel like that's almost another kind of Minecraft play, and PUBG is a massive, huge success for sure, but I don't know if every iteration on that, every time they update it, every sequel that game could possibly get is going to keep an audience with it the whole time. I could be totally wrong here. They're clearly finding new ways to monetize Minecraft. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, right? It's crazy. Okay, so I'm all for this DC streaming service. I'm definitely going to check it out. We are going to end up with a DC one, a Disney one, which will have Star Wars and Marvel. Paramount still is trying to sell you their CBS All Access so you can get Star Trek. It's basically, if you like a show or a cool sort of geeky category, you're gonna have to get a new streaming account. And Netflix is just going to have to sit down and watch all of these famous, intellectual properties sort of pop up with their new ways to tap into your wallet. You can't blame these companies. I mean, that's the way that it is. It's all you can eat buffet of you like Marvel? We got Marvel for you. You like DC? We got DC for you. Makes a lot of sense. I think that there's probably a lot of turmoil happening on license fees and per episode, deals in the traditional television market. So this totally makes sense. I am psyched. So I'm definitely going to do that. What time are we looking at here? I think we're going to start thinking about getting Steve Tilley in. You know what? Let's do that. But first, let's run This Day in Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for January 30th. On this day in 1969, music history was made. The Beatles, inarguably the greatest rock band of all time, gave an impromptu public performance from the rooftop of the Apple Records building in London. They'd been in the studio recording their penultimate album, Abbey Road, and the spur-of-the-moment rooftop concert caused quite a scene, with passerby converging on the street below to create a large crowd, which was eventually broken up by the police. This would ultimately prove to be the final public performance by the Beatles because the band broke up less than a year later. On January 30th, 2009, one of the biggest actors in the world totally changed course because the Liam Neeson movie Taken was released worldwide. Although he had appeared in a few action-centric films before this, Taken was the one that established the Oscar-winning actor as an action movie star, spawning 2 sequels and countless other explosive movies with Neeson's name above the title. I guess you could say audiences were quite taken with it. That pun had zero effect, but the mystery comedy Zero Effect was thankfully much more effective when it was released on January 30th, 1998. Loosely based on one of the original Sherlock Holmes novels, the film stars Bill Pullman as a quirky private detective and also features Ben Stiller and Kim Dickens. It was written and directed by Jake Kasdan, yes, Lawrence Kasdan's son, and this was his debut. I guess January isn't nothing but bad movies after all. In the video game world, the awesome Res HD was released on the Xbox 360 on January 30th, 2008. It was an up-resed version of the original 2001 Res game, which was released on the PS2 and Sega Dreamcast. And the HD version not only offered better visuals, but better audio that was closer to that of what the developers had envisioned. Res HD also had the distinction of being one of the first HD remasters ever, something that has since become all too common. If it wasn't copyrighted, we'd sing happy birthday to one of the best Batman actors because Christian Bale was born on this day in 1974. Before he starred in the Dark Knight trilogy, Bale was an established child actor, his breakout role being Steven Spielberg's Empire of the Sun. His role in the 2000 horror movie American Psycho is still creepy all these years later, and since Batman, he's appeared in many great movies, and also Terminator Salvation. Don't bother watching that one. Writing for various things. We are back. Steve Tilley is here with me, the one and only Steve Tilley. I love this man. I've worked together with this guy for a long-ass time on our television properties and our web stuff, and he is an acclaimed writer, very well respected in the interactive industry and the entertainment industry, working still with the Toronto Sun, but also doing a little bit more these days, right? Doing some consulting and writing, branching out, trying some new things. I think that's the way that everybody in media is kind of getting by right now, right? Trying new things.
You gotta have all kinds of side hustle,
Absolutely.
Right? All kinds of side hustle.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, I wanted to have you on. I mean, I'd like to have you on every day, but I think you'd get sick of us. But I wanted
unlikely.
I wanted to have you on because I wanted to talk about this Microsoft news, which we've heard things like this before. But what did you think when you first heard this?
I think there's very little chance of this happening. You know, the Microsoft buying EA, like Microsoft is looking at a lot of companies. They're probably looking at every major studio out there in one respect or another. Buying something as big as EA, I don't know if that makes a ton of sense for Microsoft because you got to remember the EA, most of their business, over half their business is on the PlayStation platform. So for Microsoft to buy EA, it's either EA is going to be selling fewer games, which is not going to make the shareholders happy, who would have to approve the sale, or Microsoft's going to pay a massive amount of money, which I don't think is going to make the Microsoft shareholders happy. Yeah. It's not a union that makes a lot of sense. I know that Microsoft is in a real kind of dire position in terms of exclusives. They're getting hammered by Sony and Nintendo in the exclusives department. So there's obviously got to be some fixes there. I don't think purchasing EA in particular is going to be one of them, but I think we'll definitely see them acquiring a few more studios over this year.
We're about to have this commercial for the future of video games with Ready Player One come out.
Right.
And I'm wondering, I don't think there's a correlation there, but there is this move towards kind of Netflixing the video game industry and sort of populating your software wherever, whatever screen you sit in front of. Valve has almost got us there. Origin has been trying to get us there. Do you think that the interest from Microsoft is more along those lines and more about forward thinking than catch-up thinking?
Yeah, well, there's talk of them. There's talk of them buying Valve as well, right? And I assume that would entail them acquiring Steam. And then Valve is really more of a distributor now than a game publisher or developer. Yes. I mean, they're still doing games, but really Steam is their bread and butter, and that's how they've kind of revolutionized the way we play games.
And it's privately held, which is incredible.
Right, which is good. In a way, it's good. Microsoft's doing that kind of thing with Game Pass, which is actually a really good deal. It's a really interesting step to be able to kind of like this is the Netflixification of video games, being able to pay a monthly fee and play as many titles as you want. I don't know though. I mean, I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't know how that makes necessarily a lot of sense for studios to invest in these AAA titles and then only get a cut of a monthly fee. And yet, I mean, it works for Netflix, right? They're making money hand over fist, and they've got so much money to pour back into development of TV shows and movies. So the model is there on the entertainment side. I'm just not sure if we're quite there on the game side yet.
Let me throw this weird idea at you. Xbox Game Pass on the PlayStation 4.
Ooh la la, wouldn't that be weird? Man, I can't even wrap my head around that. I long for the day when we have the great unification of gaming platforms, right? I mean, at least on sort of the PC, Xbox, PS4, but PlayStation side, I think Nintendo's always going to do their own thing, as we'll probably be talking about shortly. But I think I would love to see some kind of unification across the other platforms and not have to buy not only different consoles or upgrade PCs, but these weird incremental, half generational updates like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. It's not a model that's really attractive to anybody except the holders, the companies. Yeah. So anything that brings a little more unification to gaming as a whole is a good thing. I'm just not sure how we get from here to there.
Well, my mind starts reeling when I think about a deal like this because I think about the archival of all of these games and and like there have been so many physical copies of games made that are almost, and Sid Bolton would be one to talk to about this stuff. But there is this deluge of product and valuable, interesting software. We saw the success of the Super Nintendo Classic and the Nintendo Classic with Nintendo. There is this nostalgic thing, but there's still an intrinsic value to that archive of software. And I think it's only through bold ideas and bold maneuvers like this that we're ever going to really move away from this disposable kind of concept that we have around games. This is a business that is constantly throwing out everything. I mean, you can't even play backwards compatible software on PlayStation 4.
That's just it.
You know?
No, I mean, we're sitting on these decades, literally decades of games that are, for all intents and purposes, no longer accessible. Like great games that, like I said, we've got the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, but there's a whole gap, sort of the original Xbox and original PlayStation era, which we're seeing some of these titles get revived or some of them being made available through services. But again, Xbox has got the right idea with their backwards compatibility. It's a really big deal to be able to take an old disc that you have sitting in your closet gathering dust, stick it in your modern console, and be able to play it. But there's so much IP out there that is, again, we don't really see this in film and television. We've got libraries of archives of movies and TV shows, dozens of services to access the stuff that's really specific to genres. We don't really have something like that to access this hugely rich history of games that are kind of just sitting in limbo now. So again, I mean, we can move to something that opens up a huge library of those old titles. That would be fantastic. But again, I'm not sure exactly how we get there. Like we're seeing that emulation is a big thing, obviously. The classic consoles are a big thing, but there's still there's tons of games from the PS1, PS2 era. They're just kind of lost in time right now.
Think about how much money is just sitting right there.
Exactly, right? It's all sitting on the table. Somebody's got to figure out the solution to get it.
People were spending $500 to get the Super Nintendo Classic, probably more than that, because they wanted it at all costs. And Steam, I think, has profited greatly from, and players as well, from the idea that they can go back into a 2-decade-old archive and play one of these classic games again at any time that they want. And like Steam, I think has edged closer and closer to being on a console, but it never has gotten there. And I feel like it's going to be a massive sea change kind of idea and concept like this that's going to do it. And the other thing that will happen from a massive deal like this, and I'm not suggesting that this is happening because it does seem outlandish, but it will almost become a savior, I think, of big budget software because the audience opportunity is going to grow exponentially. Suddenly it's like boom. There's going to be even what Microsoft has done with Game Pass could be a huge revolution for their video game business because there's going to be a lot of people that look at the dollars of that and go, well, this is a better deal. I don't need to own these discs on my shelf. Let's just pay $120 a month, $120 a year, and I've got access to all this stuff. Imagine if that was also filled with every EA game, and EA's got their own thing, so could be huge. Yeah,
that's just it. We've got so many of these little tendrils that are going in all these different directions. So maybe a Microsoft acquisition of EA would help consolidate some of that stuff. And they could also do they could do what they've done with Minecraft and make it available on all platforms. Microsoft owns Minecraft, but you can play it on still play on the PlayStation, play it on the Nintendo platforms. Maybe they would do that with EA, or if again, I don't think this deal is ever going to happen. But if they did go through, it would give Microsoft the ability to basically hold things like all the EA Sports titles, Madden and FIFA and whatnot, as Xbox exclusives, and not to mention the stuff like Battlefront and Battlefield, and that would really hammer Sony. That would be a huge way for Microsoft to get ahead of Sony. But again, the numbers don't really quite make sense, and a lot of the other aspects of that deal don't make sense.
I think it's a smarter play to not go exclusives route. Like if you're playing at that level, it's like sell as many as you can, and it feels like that's what they're thinking now with Play Anywhere, right? Like how many more people are playing Xbox games not on an Xbox since they started doing that?
Yeah, no, and again, Microsoft has done some really smart stuff with the Play Anywhere, with saying you buy one copy, it plays on your PC or your Xbox. The Game Pass library, they're doing all the smart stuff, and they've got great hardware. Like the Xbox One, the Xbox One X is a fantastic piece of hardware. It's just that Sony has such a significant, almost insurmountable lead in this generation. That I don't know how Microsoft catches up, and I don't know how Microsoft deals with exclusives like Spider-Man and God of War and stuff like The Last of Us 2. these are all things that are coming out this year, and it's hard to find an Xbox exclusive on the same level as any of those.
Yeah, and the only way they get there is if they spend, right? Like they got to go out and go out and buy some of these companies. It's such a shame that Lionhead is no longer with Xbox. Can you think of some alternative, like? Let's run Microsoft's game business here for a second. Let's have some fun.
Oh, awesome!
Can you think of some alternative ideas? Maybe some other studios, or maybe they should be investing in IP in a direction.
Well, I mean, rather than buying EA outright, it's too bad that Microsoft couldn't scoop up studios like BioWare or like Visceral or like some studios that have been closed down, or like Respawn and
Criterion
and Nurture. Yeah, because they've got the sensibility. They're about obviously the corporate money-making mentality, but I believe at Microsoft there really is a genuine desire to create good games and make good games accessible. Yeah, and it's just I think studio acquisition is probably the way to go, or I don't know, because remember how much did they buy Rare for? Was it like hundreds of millions of dollars they bought Rare for? What came of that? What really came of that? So
I think it's about. I really do think it's about making a bigger industry. That's what the deal is, and it feels like these juggernauts are kind of butting up against each other, and it's going to take one of them. Just like Valve could easily probably make a deal to Microsoft and say, we're going to buy your Xbox division because we want to turn that into the Steam box. Or EA could say, we're going to buy Valve because we want to have all of it. It feels like they're all sort of going up against each other. And Sony came out with the right product at the right time, at the right price, and the right solution to what Microsoft's messages were, and they just catapulted forward with the PlayStation 4. But they have this very closed-off ecosystem with their network, and they're not even sharing, like you can't even cross-play on
exactly, right, yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's true. Sony has really succeeded with the titles, the exclusives. Yeah. Where they're kind of spinning their wheels is with innovation, with things like Microsoft has just leapt ahead in terms of that, again, with cross-play and with Game Pass and other stuff that they're doing. And the whole Xbox Live experience is actually really great. And they've been working on that thing for 15 years now. They've really honed that to a fine edge. So Sony right now has all the cards in terms of market share and exclusive titles, at least in 2018. Yeah. But I really feel like it's Microsoft that's doing the innovating, and they just got to find that one kind of magic bullet that propels them ahead. Or I don't know, maybe wait till the next generation. But what is the next generation? Are we really going to see? I mean, I guess we are going to see a PlayStation 5. Sony's already kind of I think sort of talked about that. Microsoft is really they're really kind of leaning into this whole games as a service or games delivery as a service rather than I think so much focused on the hardware, which is all these games on the PC. Like Microsoft says, we don't care where you play it. Just play our games, be part of our network, play our games. If it's on your PC, if it's on your laptop, if it's on an Xbox, whatever. So I don't know, man. 2018 is gonna be really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of
E3 is gonna be wild.
This E3 is gonna be interesting, yeah.
Because everybody's gonna be racing to Nintendo because Nintendo's done so well with the Switch. We're gonna see a lot of third-party support of the Switch, and it's gonna be cool. I feel like. I keep thinking of Minority Report and how prescient that movie was, and how Spielberg had worked with a bunch of futurists to kind of define where he mapped it out, and I think we're doing that again with Ready Player One, and I keep thinking of that. It's just like, consumers already mash all of this stuff up anyway. They don't really have this siloed allegiance that the companies all want. Like, we don't care what network a TV show is on. We don't care, really, at the end of the day, what platform we're playing it on. We want that experience, and I feel like Ready Player One's going to put that out there. They're going to say, no, you can have your Overwatch and your Street Fighter and your Akira
all mashed together. And it's funny too because I don't know if you've been watching any of the viral videos or the stuff around VR chat. But one of the cool things about VR chat, really, it's like a primitive precursor to Ready Player One in the sense that people are adopting any sort of avatar. It's almost like Second Life was way back in the day, and we're seeing all these licensed characters appear in VR chat and just mash them together, and that's kind of like the first baby step towards what we're going to see in Ready Player One. I mean, I don't know, it's way too far in the future, but I'm not sure what companies are going to can do to protect these properties, or if they would even want to. I mean, are you okay with having Tracer and Master Chief and Freddy Krueger all exist in the same kind of universe? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we get there. I think we're a little ways away from the Oasis just yet, but I'm looking forward to that.
We are edging closer to it, you know. And there is this thing, that this Spielbergian kind of ability to kind of paint an image of it, and we go, yeah, okay, we're going with that. That sounds pretty cool.
It's true,
you know, and I mean, Lucas as well, right?
He's doing the research and saying, here's what might happen, but then he puts it out there, and all of a sudden we're saying, oh yeah, it's not Minority Report building on what the futurists think. It's now we're building on what Minority Report showed us was possible, right?
Yeah, so, we saw that with Star Trek quite a bit too. Exactly. Okay, well, let's speaking of forward thinking, but also lo-fi to the nth degree. Like Nintendo came out and just shocked everybody with this announcement, and did they ever? I mean, you got invited and you went out to an event, but I feel like we got press releases about this thing. People might be interested in this and covering this thing.
I know.
And they couched it a bit. It's just like, this is for everybody that's young and young. Like, you could feel like there was a bit of like, I don't know if you're going to dig this, but it's coming. And it's so freaking cool. I think everybody that you've played with it, how is Labo?
Well, okay, I was sitting in a room full of Nintendo people watching this video for the first time the day before it premiered online.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching the video and watching that they're showing these cardboard sheets rolling off the assembly line. Like, what is this? And then somebody punching them out of building something. I'm like, are you shitting me? They're building like cardboard toys. But then when it's just, I can't get my head around how brilliantly this stuff is engineered. The ideas they come up with to make this stuff work and create these sort of, it's like Toys to Life, except not. It's like the toys are the game. The toys aren't part of the game. The toys are the game. The Switch is so perfectly integrated as a piece of hardware into these toys. And I don't know how, when I was looking inside the piano, you have the little cardboard piano.
Yeah.
And they gave it to me fully assembled. I built some of the other stuff, but they gave this to me fully assembled and just let me play it. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what is making this press on a cardboard piano key cause music to the Switch screen? What is I couldn't understand how these were working together. Yeah. And it's all just like the little Joy-Con stuck in the back that's got a camera scanning the inside of the piano, looking for little reflective strips that pop up when you press a key. I'm like,
wow.
Who thought of that? Who thought of that? Who designed that? How did that come about? And I was talking to our pal Reggie Fils-Aimé after, and he said that he went hands-on with the first version of this over a year ago. So they had this in the works before the Switch was even released, and they've really put a lot of thought and a lot of work into it. And I think it is going to explode. It's just the perfect combination of video games that don't involve your child, just staring at a screen pressing buttons. They're involved. They're building something with their own hands. They're understanding the technology that makes these toys work. It's a perfect kind of combination of ideas. And I think parents are just going to go bananas for it. They're like, this is a semi-educational thing. It's Nintendo, so it's going to be wholesome, and it's going to be well designed. It's going to be imaginative. It's just, but what other company could have done this? Nobody, right? Nobody could have done this.
I mean, I think they've done that like with Tearaway and stuff like that in software, and they've sort of presented the illusion of something like this, but to physicalize it is absolutely brilliant. It's a genius play because you're tapping into that guilt-free playtime that Lego gets into it.
Guilt-free playtime.
Right, and it's also recyclable. And so you're teaching people to use... Right, you're teaching.
Dude, that's such a good point. I never thought of that. It's like if I could only flatten all my Guitar Hero instruments and put them in the cardboard recycle now, I would be so happy. Instead of them taking up huge space in my closet. Yeah.
I mean, it's very forward thinking, and you have to think that Nintendo's been looking at the 3D printer explosion of creativity that's been going on there, and they're thinking, okay, we've got to get in there. And this idea of Toys to Life and engage. I mean, that they've always designed their games that way anyways. Miyamoto's philosophy has always been to bring the outside inside. And I feel like they've probably toyed around with all this stuff. And probably in the future, we'll see some kind of more sophisticated 3D printing mechanism that allows us to, create characters and robots and things like that.
I think this is very much the first wave of a really long initiative, like a really long play. the stuff that's in the variety pack and the robot pack that are coming out in April they're really cool, but they're definitely first gen experiences. But you can think about all the possibilities of Nintendo building games that have Labo components as part of the game, and then whether it's a special kind of controller or a little companion you build that interacts with the game. There's just so many places that can go with this, and the production costs of this stuff. There's a lot that went into the design and into the engineering, and really a lot goes into the software too, and especially the assembly instructions, which is something that's really minor that I keep coming back to. It's like they could not be more clear. They could not be more perfect in explaining exactly which pieces you punch out for the first step, exactly which orientation they should be in. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want through the assembly. You can zoom in on the 3D model on your screen. It's like if IKEA could do this, my dresser wouldn't be about to fall down right now. It's because we missed the 3 screws that are supposed to be in there.
The audacity of Nintendo to zag when everybody is zigging. Like
that's
amazing. What an incredible company, man. Like they're just so gutsy and weird, and God, we need them in this world, don't we? Like they're just such an interesting bunch of people over there. How is the software though? Like, is it fun? I have I have three big questions for you.
Okay.
How is the software fun? Aren't people going to be freaking out about scratching their Switches? I was all about protective coating when the Switch launched last year. It was just like, don't be careful putting it into the dock, and then the other thing is like, how do you engage with another person? How do you make it fun for more than one person?
Yeah. Okay. So the software is actually. The experiences they showed me, which they may not be the complete experiences, but the experience they showed me with the variety pack, like for instance the fishing game, it's very simplistic. It's you're just basically lowering your line down into the water, and the deeper you go, the harder the fish are to catch. The control is really fascinating in that the line on the fishing rod connects into a little base station that the Switch sits in, and there's no connection between the tension on the line and the Switch. There's no communication there. The line is just wrapped around basically a spool inside the base station that's got rubber bands giving it tension, but the illusion of yanking on the line and feeling like there's a fish there is super convincing. And when you're struggling to reel in a fish, and then you gotta like let out some slack as it's fighting the line, and you gotta like go back and forth with the fishing rod, it's completely convincing. But I think that we're going to see kind of the first wave of experiences, at least in the variety pack kit, be fairly I don't want to say shallow, but fairly simple experiences. They're going to be more like, this is an introduction to Labo. This is how you build these things. Yep. This is how these are some things you can do with them. I think it's just going to get our head around what this is and what we can do with it. So there's nothing super deep that I saw anyway. There could be, for all I know, there could be like a 20-hour campaign mode in the fishing mini game. I doubt it. But
hey man, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo. Remember they had the Zapper or whatever with the Wii, and they had that Legend of Zelda crossbow game that was just right. It was a deep game. Like you could keep playing it. Yeah.
So it is really fun to play. The piano's fun to mess around with. The remote controlled cards, which I wasn't impressed with at first. Then I learned that there's all kinds of different stuff. They got, it's got like an infrared camera on it. You can actually have it guiding it through obstacles that you're watching on your screen. Wow. So again, I think it's more of an introduction to the concept and getting us familiar with what these toys are and what they can do, more than giving us really deep experiences off the top. Yep. The robot pack, which is its own separate kit, it's like a one experience kit. That I assume will be much deeper. I think there's going to be a lot of different gameplay elements to that. I'm still not sure how it's going to hold up to a lot of this. Kids doing this, or even in general, these are cardboard toys, and the cardboard is sturdy, but it's not so sturdy. Like it's got to be thin enough that you can easily fold it into these shapes, right? So it can't be like hugely thick corrugated cardboard that's going to stand up to anything. So a lot of times going to get.
Dude, we're talking about cardboard though. Couldn't people just go and get more cardboard? Like they have the instructions, and I ripped my robot. I'm going to go get another bunch of cardboard and fix it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that. I think because the pieces are so well engineered, they're very precisely cut, and all the fold lines are scored on the back. So you're always folding along kind of a pre-existing little line there to guide you. I think that would be kind of hard to replicate without basically a cardboard printer of some sort that not a lot of people have access to.
So Nintendo has made proprietary cardboard.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do about replacement parts, because these are toys that are going to be played with by kids, and kids are not gentle. Kids are going to build that fishing rod and they're immediately going to start whacking.
I've seen kids with cardboard. I have one that plays with cardboard all the time. Cardboard goes all over the damn place.
It's like on Christmas when all you want to do is get the cardboard tube out of the Christmas wrap, so beating your brother over the head with it.
Yes.
So, I mean, the durability it'll be interesting to see what Nintendo does in terms of providing replacement pieces.
Yeah.
I already forgot what the second question was.
The Switch itself, were you at all nervous about the Switch? No?
No, it's housed in each experience. It's either you're just holding your hand, or it's housed in a very secure cardboard kind of cradle. So you're not ever really even touching the screen. You're playing with toys, and the Switch is going to just provide a screen. But for like the fishing game, it sits in a nice, snug cardboard cradle. It's angled. It's not going to fall out unless somebody kicks it over. So I don't think that's a big concern. I don't think the Switch hardware is in any kind of real danger in any of these toys.
Okay, that's cool. And then, like multiplayer, is there stuff to kind of bring somebody else in, or it's like fold it this way? No, fold it that way. No, look, just sit over there. I'll fix it. I'll do it.
I think really the kind of multiplayer experience here is going to be people just working on the toys together, or specifically parents and kids working on the toys together, because I think it's sort of aimed at kids 7 and 8 and older. Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff is, I was trying to build these toys again in front of a whole bunch of Nintendo people watching me, which is hugely nerve-wracking. It's like, I think when we were playing a game at E3 and the developer's sitting right next to you.
Oh yeah.
It's like that times 10, because you're building these little cardboard models, and there's some really fine folds in some of them.
And they have a room filled with other people that want to come in and do the same thing with you. Yes.
So yeah, I think for younger kids, like kids around 7 and 8, there's going to be definitely probably some adult involvement. Some of the models, like the piano and the house, especially the piano, are like dozens and dozens of pieces. So it's not a simple project to put together some of these things. So I think the sort of cooperative multiplayer, if you will, component will be the actual assembly of the toys. Other than the remote control cars, I think that's the only one that's really got a 2-player kind of experience to it that I saw anyway. Again, I wasn't seeing the full depth of what each piece of software is going to offer, but it looked like they were mostly solo experiences, but something that you could, like your kid is interacting with a little house and making, the little creature do stuff in the house, and you're there watching and you're making suggestions, or, just encouraging, or just, watching your child play and experiment with this. I think that's kind of where the collaborative multiplayer experience is going to come. Again, in the first wave, who knows what we're going to see, in the 3rd or 4th generation of these things, what kind of stuff they'll come up with. Because just right out of the gate, they've already got these really incredibly inventive and well-engineered toys. And that's on the first try. And that's like the first 2 packs coming out in April. And they're going to have other ones, I think, later this year. And I can't wait to see what they do with this throughout 2018 and in coming years.
Do you think that we're going to be talking about a huge success here with Labo? Or
Oh yeah. I mean, I've learned now never to underestimate Nintendo. I really distinctly recall seeing the original Wii at E3 for the first time, and I was like, what the hell? Seriously, tennis? Or dragging these little controllers play tennis? Yeah, that's gonna be good for 5 minutes for like children.
Right.
And the Wii did okay. And the Switch, same thing. I remember you and I being at the event here in Toronto, seeing the Switch. I'm like, okay, well, it's cool, but it's not the same fidelity as the PS4 or Xbox One. It's it's only about 3-hour battery life, and when it's out of the dock, I thought it was going to flop. I admit, I thought it was going to flop. I have been proven drastically wrong. Now,
you know what the Switch did, right? Like, it was a weird concept that you felt like you had to kind of explain over and over again. But I think when you actually touched it and played with the games, it was so simple. The concept of, I don't have to stop. I can bring it with me, and then I can keep going. Like, they show the marketing and all the commercials, and you'd watch it and go, okay, that's clever, but are people going to want to actually? And then you don't want to live without it. And so now it's such a good machine that it kind of creates a new issue for them. It's like, how do you follow that up? And how do you have that other category for your portable gameplay? Like, they've had so much success with it, although they are still doing fine with 3DS.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
But it's it's like they're so successful with these wacky ideas that they create a new sort of dilemma for them.
Yeah, and that's just it. I think nobody's done anything. Nobody could do anything similar to what they're doing with the Labo. I mean, I remember Sony kind of trying some of the stuff with the PlayStation Eye camera. They had that Harry Potter magic book that that AR kind of experience. It was really cool, but it just did not take off at all.
So clunky though. That was
and that's just it.
We're having that issue with VR right now as well, right? Like there's just so many little bits and pieces and things have to be plugged in all over the place.
Yeah.
And, you got to make it elegant. You got to make it simple. And that is the one thing that I think about with Labo. Like, is this a continuous piece of software? I guess they can test it out and they can see how it is, but I don't know if people keep coming back. That's the question, right? It could be a novelty that wears off.
I kind of thought that Switch would be a novelty at first. I thought that everybody would buy it out of the gate and then say, okay, well, what I want to haul this thing around and play games on. And then you realize I'm playing freaking Legend of Zelda on the bus. And I'm not playing like a 3DS scaled down reimagining of Zelda. I'm playing the full-on, open world Zelda experience in my hands. And that, it's just such an eye.
Another thing, Oasis-like. I feel like we're plugging Ready Player One a lot today, but it's another one of these things where it's like I can be in my beautiful virtual world anytime, anywhere I want to be now. It's a new way of thinking around video games.
Yeah, and I think that to go back to Labo, I think that when the packaging is super slick. The instructions are super slick. The cardboard has a really nice feel to it, and it's really well. Like when you punch the stuff out, there's no rough edges. There's no little hangy bits on it.
Yeah.
They've done such a good job of imagining this, and I think it's gonna explode. I think, again, going back to what we were saying earlier, parents are gonna see this and say, "This is, like you said, guilt-free gaming. This is something that I can do that will, let my kid play with their Switch, which they're gonna do anyway, but also get me involved, get them involved building stuff, get them involved learning how this stuff works." It's just such an easy sell to parents, and I think it's gonna fly off the shelves. I mean, this could be the one. This could be another time I'm wrong about Nintendo in the other direction.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be a huge success this year, and we'll see. We'll see if it's a one-trick pony, or we'll see it's almost like a new platform unto itself.
Well, the idea of the cardboard being disposable and recyclable and all that stuff is I think it's in the win category, but it's also if you really love the piano that you build, the idea of that fragility of that, or something ripping or tearing, and sort of juxtaposed against what you're actually paying to build all of that stuff, that's going to be the secret sauce on how successful all of this is, I think.
Yeah, the price was I felt the price was a little high. I mean, I don't know if we've got Canadian pricing yet, but it's like what, $70 for the variety kit and I think $80 for the robot kit US.
Yeah.
And that seems like a lot, but then when you think about it, the variety kit, $70, it's for 5 different toys. Really, you're getting 5 toys out of that. One of which is a piano that plays like a piano, and there's like this really cool house that your Switch lives inside and a little creature lives on it. So it's not. I think it's probably a fair price, but people are going to have to wrap their heads on the idea of paying $70 for a package of cardboard, right? And but again, we pay $70 for a game,
It's
so
true.
It's not.
It's true.
It's not
we're paying for the experience. It's not really for, like, ultimately that's what we're doing, right? We're escaping into this experience, and Nintendo is crafting this stuff, so it is that. I can't wait. I can't wait to to test this stuff out, and to especially play this with my kid. Super excited about that. But I want to talk a little bit more about other things that are currently cooking right now. But if anybody has questions or comments or anything, have you seen anything, Blake? Has anybody popped up with anything for Mr. Steve Tilley?
Yeah, people want to know how thick and durable the cardboard is.
Okay, how thick and durable is the cardboard? I guess.
Well, that's just it. It's a little thinner than, say, like an Amazon shipping box. It's not thin, it's not fragile, but again, it's got to be thin enough that it's easily foldable.
Right.
So I feel like they've engineered the stuff so well. Like the tabs fit into the slot almost like with a snap, like a really satisfying click. And once you've got all the pieces assembled together, it's pretty sturdy. Like I was reefing the hell out of that fishing rod, and the only thing that happened to it was one little kind of cosmetic piece on the reel that I hadn't folded quite properly fell off, and that was it. But I mean, I was tugging on this thing. I was trying to wrestle this giant manta ray from the depths of the ocean up into my boat, and it held up. And then again, that's only like 10, 15 minutes of play, but it certainly wasn't falling apart. It's as durable as it can be for the thinness that it has to be easy enough to assemble by hand.
I'm kind of chuckling because I'm just thinking of the idea of either Sony or Xbox presenting this.
That's just it.
There's no
First of all,
way they could do it.
They couldn't do it. It's just not in their universe. Even if they had the exact same idea. Well, first of all, they don't have handheld consoles that they can put in.
Yeah.
Something like this. Maybe Sony should have done this with the Vita back in the day, and that would have saved it. But no, I mean, this is literally something only Nintendo could do and can do right now, and it's just so weird and endearing and fun to watch them doing. Watching Xbox and PS4, roughly parallel experiences. Nintendo's like, they're over there. Doing their own thing. They don't care. They're not watching what the other guys are doing that closely. They're just saying, we got these wacky new things. We got this handheld console that'll play anything. We got these cardboard toys, and they're doing things that only Nintendo can. And
That's
good for
awesome.
them. Good for them.
Well, and that a lot of these decisions were sort of initiated by the lack of interest in the Wii U, which was also filled with great ideas, but they just couldn't generate it. And I love that Nintendo says, okay, well, we're going to take this position of I hate to say weakness or failure, but this position of being sort of beat down in the sales thing, and let's double down and let's come up with some really innovative new ways to go. And I feel like Microsoft should be in that position right now too, because they've been in this sort of neck and neck race with PlayStation and sort of jostling for the lead depending on what generation of console that they have. And they're phenomenal machines. They're incredibly rich with great stuff. There is, I think, mostly because I think the cost to make AAA has just become so expensive. I don't think that there is that sort of bounty of lots of AAA game makers ready to rock that they can that are instant solutions for Microsoft. So I feel like this is the time for them to say, look, and they've been saying it the last couple of years, we're staying in games. We're not selling the Xbox division. Yeah. We're going to come up with some really cool new, ideas. But this is their time to shock us. Yeah,
their ideas I think will be on the sort of service side as opposed to coming up with some kind of new hardware innovation. I don't see Microsoft ever making like a portable console. And we've seen them dabble in VR. They are dabbling in VR and mixed reality, and it hasn't really caught on fire by any stretch yet. But I think their strength lies in the software and the back end that serves these things, and that's where they can innovate.
Yep.
Sony's strength lies in the exclusives, and just really really smart. I don't know. I guess kind of a really good eye for what a studio can bring, like things like something like Guerrilla Games, the makers of Killzone, making an open world, completely new IP with a primitive technological mix with a heroine with a bow. It just sounds so out there, and yet they created one of the best games of last year with Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's
you got to nurture that,
a good eye for that.
Yeah,
what's that?
Sony, you got to nurture it. Sony has got an amazing eye for that, and they saw that 5 years ago, which is absolutely incredible. Yeah. The other thing that's been going on too recently, there's nothing to kind of show. We don't have footage of it or anything, but Phil Harrison, who had major stints at Sony and Xbox, is now at Google. He's a VP at Google. Presumably, he's a game executive, and he used to be a developer, and he's a great guy, and he's got a huge resume and a lot of history and experience and relationships all throughout the business. Presumably, Google is going to get serious about something games-wise, and we may see the Oasis from them.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody can make it happen, it's Google. They've got $100 bazillion if they want to create Oasis, and they've got the first steps with their sort of VR, the Daydream hardware is kind of their steps into VR, and for what it is, for a $100 device that holds your phone, there's some decent experiences in that thing. So yeah, I mean, who knows? I really want to get there. I really want to get there with VR. It's not there yet, and I'm really seeing. We're seeing the new generation of Vive. The Vive Pro is coming out. Pimax has got their wacky giant headset, but all the early reports are that these things are steps ahead, but we need the VR headset that is completely wireless, doesn't require a $2,000 supercomputer to run, and it's easy to get on and off. And I think we're still a couple of years at least from that, and affordable too.
All of these moves, though, all of these, massive deals like Minecraft and Nintendo coming out and being successful with the Switch. And you see a major studio and a major director say, look, we want to make a movie about video games this way. And then there's the new Wreck-It Ralph 2 and stuff, and Tomb Raider. It all points to the future is pretty rosy for games. Like, it's not going away. As rocky as it is, and we can get mired in stuff like the pay-to-win loot box, controversies. It's not going away. Things are going to get solved, and we're going to have incredible interactive experiences. Some of them might be with cardboard.
I like it. I like that. I like that rosy vision of the future. And I think you're probably right.
It's going to be bumpy, but it's going to be super fun.
We'll get there.
Yes. And brother, it is amazing to have you on our television. It's like you were made for television. You're here on TV right now. It's like I'm watching TV. I love
like
it.
I was on Come to the Show for 5 years. It's great.
Well, we'll have you on again.
I'm always here to gab about whatever you want to gab about.
Awesome. Well, I'll ping you again soon, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. But right now it's time to take a look back in the date book at a buried treasure. I've got another cool mobile buried treasure for you. This is Teeny Titans from the Cartoon Network, and you're going, what is wrong with you, Lucas? You've lost your mind. But trust me, this is a fantastic game. It's definitely a kid-oriented game, but you can still have fun as a fan of comic books and as a fan of the Teen Titans. If you have a little kid, you can play it with the little kid. Raju Mudar, actually, one of my old Reviews on the Run cohorts. I love you, Raju. I hope you're doing well. He recommended that I play this game and check this out with my daughter, because he was playing it with his daughter, and we both love it. My daughter and I have been playing this for about a year and a half. It's been on maybe even almost 2 years. It's been on the iPhone for a while. This is about collecting action figures. So, you got me right there. But it's collecting DC Comics action figures. All of the Titans are in there. You create a super team. You stick them on a kind of a pseudo in-game 3DS, and then your team fights all kinds of villains. Some of them are dressed up like dogs, because this is cute, and it's crazy, and it has lots of animated little bits all the way through it. And it is funny, and it's charming, and there's tons of cameos from, the adult superheroes, and you're also collecting all of these figures and earning coins and using special powers and going to toy shops and getting into tournaments. It plays a little bit like Pokemon, I've got to be honest, which is really cool. So you get that addictive kind of, what character is going to use what super move when, and then you can trade out in your team. You go 3 at a time, but you can collect a bigger roster, and you can power up those characters. And basically, if you assemble them in different kinds of sequences, like you get the 80s Robin and the 80s Cyborg and 80s Raven, that's like extra 80s superpowers kind of thing. And then you are looking for those hard-to-find exclusive figures in these toy shops as well. All of the loops are fun, whether you're, upgrading your characters, finding new power-ups that you can apply to your characters, getting those action figures, that's my favorite thing. Or getting into, just fights randomly on the street, or you go into a tournament to collect a trophy, and it's all made with real flair and a real love for the material. This is wonderful stuff. Teeny Titans on mobile. I'm sure there's an Android version. I've been playing it on an iPhone. It's absolutely a buried treasure. Ah, yes, the Teeny Titans, fantastic game, absolutely worth the price, and that is one where you can just pay once and you get everything. There's no downloadable, content and no microtransactions. It's absolutely worth it, and I absolutely have to thank Raju Mudar for tuning me into that game. It's fantastic. Let's stick with the DC Comics theme now for a little bit. Evan Narcisse was on not too long ago, and he was talking about a fantastic writer, and he said I should check out their work, and so I did. I had my friend Evan Narcisse on EP Live not too long ago to talk about his work on Black Panther, and it's incredible. But he mentioned another author named Tom King, who he says is ripping things up with his run on Batman. I wanted to see for myself, so I downloaded Batman, The War of Jokes and Riddles. This is volume 4 of collected trade paperbacks under the Rebirth imprint. And Tom King is working with artist Mikkel Janin, and holy crap is this incredible. This is like an instant classic Batman tale. It takes place early in Batman's career. He started to kind of understand this collection of weirdos that he's constantly fighting, and two that stand out are the Joker and the Riddler, and of course, they hate each other. And so the way that King frames this story, it's kind of like a gangland warfare thing where they're taking over the streets of Gotham and all kinds of innocent people are killed. There are terror attacks everywhere, lots of henchmen and lots of you know, sort of medium-level supervillains are caught in the crossfire, and Batman is at his wit's end. He's still kind of figuring out how to deal with all of this chaos and all of these creeps, these scumbags that he's got running around in his beloved city of Gotham. And he's also falling in love with Selina Kyle, with Catwoman, and there's a great juxtaposition between these, you know, very heartfelt, romantic, sexy scenes between Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle, you know, cut against these horrific acts of violence that both the Joker and the Riddler are doing. And I gotta tell you, this new incarnation, Tom King's Riddler, is the most psychotic Riddler. I mean, he does stuff for the Riddler that we've seen some fantastic writers like Frank Miller and Scott Snyder do for the Joker in the past. This Riddler, this Edward Nygma, is terrifying, and he's, you know, not opposed to wasting people in some disgusting ways, and he does some unspeakable things in here. And I'm not going to ruin the story, but holy crap, it is very, very solid. The art is beautiful as well. It's like that perfect, you know, combination of writer and artist coming together to create something that you'll never forget. If you're a fan of Batman comics, and you've read tons, or maybe you've taken a little bit of a break, this is worth jumping right back in. You know, the Rebirth idea is to kind of celebrate all of the legacy and the history, and I love the fact that Tom King is, you know, sort of in the early stages of Batman's career, so he doesn't know everything. He leans on Alfred in some really cool ways. There's just some great storytelling in here. I have to kind of let it gestate and let it sit for a number of years before I could, you know, stand this up to the very best Batman tales, but it's already up there. The War of Jokes and Riddles, incredible work by Tom King, and Mikkel Janet gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me. Man, super fun show today. We've been talking about all kinds of cool things. Thanks again to Steve Tilley for being on the show. And absolutely pick up that War of Jokes and Riddles. You can just get the trade paperback like I did, and it's like the fourth one in the Tom King books. Incredible stuff. But now it's time for Let's Play and Chat, and you guys know the drill. If you want to talk about anything that happened today, we will do our best to catch up with you, but help us out with going all caps on your questions or your comments, at least, and make it punch out a little bit. I'm going to put this on for 15 minutes, and we are going to depart on a quest to go and hunt a monster in Monster Hunter World. And if you are online on your PlayStation 4 right now and you can see me, if we're friends or whatever, I don't know how you join me. Last night I was playing through a quest that I didn't accomplish, but I said, come and join me, and people did. And I don't know how that happened, and I can't recreate it for you right now. But I think what I did is I put the SOS. I'm looking for the Toby Kadachi, and I've got to go and find that. So I think it knows where I have to go. Let's take a look on my map here for a second here. Oh, and I have to go into that area. Okay, so it knows where I have to go. So I'm going in to go and hunt this Toby Kadachi, which is this huge beast. And what I did yesterday is I sent out an SOS flare. I can't use it right now. Okay, so I don't know why. But if you see me, I've got it open. I think I do.
What's your PSN name, Vic?
PSN name is Batwing. And if you want to join me, somehow people were able to join me, and I was playing with other people, and it was pretty fun. But I don't know how to do it yet, because I haven't really done that yet. And I haven't played with Bear yet. I'm looking forward to doing some adventuring with him. But I'm getting a much better feel for this exceptional game. Holy crap, is this fun. So I'm hunting a giant monster. And if anybody's got any comments or questions or whatever, shoot them. But it turned out to be a pretty fun show today, man. I was really happy that Steve was available to chat with us.
Adrian Leon says he's going to join you.
He's going to join Adrian Leon? Awesome. Very cool. Oh, let's see if I can get some herb.
I have a question, Vic.
Okay.
How big is the map in this game?
How big is the map?
Yeah.
It's big. It feels like other like other Monster Hunter games in terms of size and scale, but it all streams in. So you're not having to load into an area. The thing that drove me nuts about a lot of the earlier ones that I played is I would go into an area and then I would accidentally press back on the controller and I'd bounce back to a whole other area, and it was nuts. And this one, it has a much better flow. You do get kind of lost. There's lots of verticality and lots of caves and interior types of pieces that are stuck in here. You're also climbing up vines and stuff as well, so it's not just one level. You can see when I go to the map here, I've got different areas of the map, and you can pick up things that will help you, like there's this bright moss that you can pick up that you can shoot out of your you've got this always on kind of hand cannon type thing, and you can shoot the bright moss at the walls and it will light up the interior of a cave to make it easier to kind of navigate through, which is cool. And so now I'm trying to find this big monster. I have all of my notifications turned off, so if you're sending me friend requests or something like that, I'm probably not going to see it. Excuse me. Oh, found some footprints. Let's see what's going on over here. Yeah, so we figured out what was causing our audio issues. Every time we were choosing to unplug an HDMI source and plug it into another HDMI source, it was making OBS just totally crap out, and that's why we're getting all this crackly hit as the HDMI was handshaking with the source. And so we've got it set up a little bit differently now, so we can bounce from a Skype chat to a video game and to all of the content and everything else that we've got coming at you. All right, so I climb up here, and oh, maybe I have to get to the monster, and then I can send out the SOS flare. Okay. See, there's lots of beautiful scaling and stuff. Okay, we've got, I am playing it this weekend, so I will play with you. Need companions. You're also constantly engaged with side objectives and side missions, like you're helping botanists and stuff like that, botanical researchers that are going to give you better weapons and things, so you want to find mushrooms and bugs and all kinds of stuff that can be later utilized and implemented into tools that will help you, which is cool. Okay, so now I'm jumping down there. There it is. It's down there, so...
hey, Vic.
Yo.
Adrian Leon says to fire an SOS flare.
Okay.
Is that how he can find you in the game?
Yeah. It says I can't do it, though. It says I can't use this right now. I don't know why. Maybe I have to start attacking this thing? But this is what I'm supposed to be hunting. Ask Adrian, how do I know when I can use the flare? Because I want to select it, but I can't. Does it have to charge up or something? The last time I used it was last night. This guy is tough. Let's see what I got. Some potions. Okay.
Adrian Leon says it's in your item slot.
Yeah, I got it. I have it right here, but it won't let me select it. I want to use it. Unless it's down here, Gilly. No, nothing down there. Do I have to recharge it or anything like that? Playing. What's Adrian Leon's? Oh, got a good hit there. What's his gamer tag? Let's see if I can invite him in. This thing is awesome. Until I fainted. Come on! Maybe now I get an SOS? Okay, let's see. No. Okay. Party settings. No. Maybe, oh, you know what it is? They knocked me offline. That's what it is. While I was waiting. So how do I get online? I don't know if I can. Options.
Did you unplug the Ethernet cable from the PS4?
No, it wasn't plugged in. It was, it's all been on Wi-Fi, but it knocked me off because the thing was sitting idle for a while. Unless PSN's having some issues.
Do you need to go to the main menu?
I think I do.
Okay,
yeah.
let me.
Oh, wait a sec. I don't even know if I can.
Okay, let me go off the main screen for a second.
No. Okay, go off the main screen for a bit.
That way they won't see your.
All right, I'm quitting. I'm starting again. Let's see what happens. Oh, I can't. I can't do this during an expedition. But how do I get back online? Wait a sec. Now it says I think I am online. Nope. Offline, it says. Let's see if I can get online here. All right, one sec.
They can't see the screen.
Okay. Checking the online. 1 second. What are my thoughts on PlayStation games with third-party music as your soundtrack? Spotify works really well on Xbox for that, especially. And I think that's something that we've been expecting. That's a great question, Paul. That's we've been sort of expecting that out of our hardware for a long time, and I think it's great. I don't play games that way. I listen to the game soundtrack that's provided, or I turn it off because I have to record it or something. But yeah, I think you should be able to customize. It sucks a bit for the artists that they employ to craft the experience for you, and I get that disappointment from their eyes. But you know, like you're bringing the stuff home and you want to enjoy the game how you want to enjoy it, and being able to pipe in your own music, totally cool. I don't know if they do that on the PlayStation. I haven't tried that, so I'm not sure if that's available. I thought that they were working with Spotify to be able to do that. They had a bad weekend and don't think it's fixed. Ah, okay, JT. Leighton JT is letting us know that we might be having an issue with being offline. No, I want to take it. No, I don't. Yes, okay. I thought I was online, though. It's crazy that I can't just get online again. Is there nothing I can see on the menu? If anybody knows how to get back online when you're in a quest, if you can. If it knocks you offline, yeah, I can't invite a friend. I'm totally offline. That sucks. And I can't quit the game. Oh wait, maybe I can abandon the quest. That's it. Return to HQ. Okay, here we go. I abandoned the quest. I'm going to HQ. I'm going to try to open this up and play with other people, because that was the idea. I'm going to add 5 minutes to the clock. 1 second here. There we go. All right, so now I'm here, and I want to be online, so. This is the main city area, the main hub area. Now I want to go up to the the hub where everybody is. The Gathering Hub, I think it's called. Okay, now this should put me online, yes? Let's see. EA's Anthem got delayed to 2019. Is Anthem a make or break title for BioWare? That's what the speculation is. There was the big, I think the Kotaku article on that where they spoke to a bunch of people. There's a lot of concern about sales figures and how that's going to do and what that means for the future of the company. It sucks that there is all of this external pressure, even if it's just a, something that's sort of made up in the press. I feel like oh, here we go, online session. Search for an online session. I'm going to create one. Anyone is welcome. Here we go. So it's trying to connect to the PlayStation Network. Let's see. Oh, it's doing it. Okay, here we go.
It's a good thing they simplified this game.
There's a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, I hope that none of the pressure on BioWare, ends up backfiring. I hope everybody's okay there. I can't wait to play that game. I'll tell you that. Okay, I'm gonna post so I'm in an online session now, so I should be able to send the SOS thing, and then people can find me. So I have to activate the quest. I still have to go and get this thing. It's super cool that whether you play it alone or you play it with other people, you're sort of cruising through the narrative, which is pretty rad. So I'm loading the quest. I'm the only party member so far of a potential 4. And I don't think I have the SOS thing yet. No, I have to be in the actual quest, and then I can send it off. It's almost MMO in terms of all of these little intricacies and all of the mechanics that are there. So I'm going. Oh, wait, let's see. Confirm depart now. Stand by for departure. Can't invite anybody, I don't think, right? Nope. Let's go. Oh, I see. All right, let's do this. All right, so I grab my pterodactyl, and then we fly into it. I have been to the Edmonton offices late in JT. I think it was the old offices, though. I've been there a couple of times. I went for MDK2. And went there for Knights of the Old Republic. I think I probably went there for Jade Empire. But they're in a new space now, and I haven't been to the new space. Okay, so now I think I can send out the SOS. Yes. Boom. All right, SOS flare fired. So now people can join me. I don't know, Adrian, if you see that, you can come in and join me. I don't know how you see that. I haven't tried to find another SOS flare, but go ahead and try to find me and join me, and hopefully we get some other people on this hunt. I need the help because this Toby Kadachi is hard. Okay, here we go. So I have these sort of lightning bugs, or these light bugs that help guide me to where I have to go. And the way that the game starts out is you have to basically investigate. So there's a lot of sort of roaming around inside of the environments, trying to find the correct direction. But you're investigating and you're acquiring like herbs to staff up your potions and stock up your potions. You're just finding things that will be useful, like this mystery right here, this mucus that it's pointing at. I'm basically I'm tracking. I'm always tracking. I'm always hunting. I'm always looking around, and when you find these things, they aren't just throwaway. They actually become part of your inventory, and become useful. You can either use them to sell or to augment your weaponry. And it's this amazing loop where you feel, I think I just walk in here, yes. So there's lots of these little nooks and crannies like this too, which is cool. But you do feel like you are part of this world. You're part of this environment, and your actions have repercussions, which is great.
The Happy Console Gamer wants to know if you're going to stream Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah, absolutely. Only if you come over and do that with me, though, buddy. It'll be, I'm super interested to see how that one turns out. Okay, which way are we going? Oh, got some blue mushrooms. Tina has joined the quest. Tina's in here with me. Come on, where is this? What's the test that they do in Star Trek?
Are you talking about the Kobayashi Maru?
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking of. Whenever I see Tobi Kodachi, I always think of Kobayashi Maru. Where is it?
Why? Because it's a no-win scenario, Vic?
Yeah, kind of, right, yeah. I think I went the wrong way. Okay, here we go. You can slide down slants as stuff as well, which is cool.
Adrian Leon says, test your session ID.
Okay. I don't know what the hell that means. Test my session ID.
Or check your session ID.
Okay. How do I do that? I'm gonna try to invite a friend. Here we go. Who's playing this right now? Is Adrian Leon? Yes. Open the friend
Mystic
invite
Ninja.
screen. Mystic Ninja. Okay, let's see what we got here. Who's playing this? There's 75. I guess I shouldn't be. Let's not broadcast all my friends list. They might not be happy about that. Yeah, there it is. Mystic Ninja 3. Boom. You're in. Boom. Cool. Come and help me. Mew Mew is in here. Tina's in here. Clyde is the name of my cat. My palico. Oh. We're playing this for a little bit longer. What time is it? I have like 10 more minutes, and I do have to run, but we got to go try to fight this creature. Come on. That is the thing about Monster Hunter World is the hours. I've put in like, I don't know, 15 hours into this game already, and I'm pretty busy. And it's super fun, and the hours just fly by. Like, this is one that it's going to take over your life. All right, there you go. And then you can swing on the vines and stuff. So
Adrian says he's coming.
Nice. Help me get this monster. All right. Climb. Let's go. Where is this thing? Where is it? It's not that way. There it is. Go get it. Go get it.
Adrian's still loading.
Oh, is he? Ichigo is in here now, and Tina is in here now. Where is this thing? Come on, where'd he go? Oh, it's like behind me. Oh, I see it. I see where it is. He's up there. Go, 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 go. Frack, where is it? Oh, it's down here. Pretty incredible, huh? Okay. Come on, Tobi Kadachi. I'm close. Snake through here. Sweet. Oh, Tina and Ichigo look like they've both fainted. Because this thing is not, it's not easy to kill. There we go, let's go up here. Get it! There they are. There's my creature. Let's hunt this thing. Ouch. Get it! Oh, yes. Get it! Come on! It's got some sort of lightning skin attack thing as well. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Run! Pink Riot is in there. So I think Mystic Ninja's in the pipeline. But it's way better when you're playing with other people because you feel you've got a shot. These monsters take forever to kill.
So,
especially on your own.
Can Adrian join you right now?
I don't think so. I think I've got all the slots are filled. I don't know how to. That's, you know, it takes a long time. He was probably playing on a map, and it took him a while to quit out of his map and then get into my map. Come on! Wish I had. Get him! Nice! Sorry for all the button smashing. Come on! The thing about this giant blade is once you get locked into an animation, you have to wait until you've done your swinging. Oh, and he's totally gone. I wish I could jump and move around like this thing. Look at this guy. You're a very annoying creature. I've got a giant slow sword. Would you stand still for 1 second? There we go. Oh. Get it. Oh, jeez. Let's have some energy drink. Sure. That. Oh. And I need... Do I not have any... I'm totally gonna die here. I need some health. Ration. Just picking that up. Come on. I'm dead. Come on, Clyde. Where's my cat? Where's my cat, buddy? Sometimes he gives me some vitality. Oh, no. Get up there. Get. Uh-oh. I'm dead. Get. I've been zapped. I can't move. Oh, no. He's got fainted again. Oh, man. Others already joined me. Yes, Adrian. Sorry. I opened it up. I didn't know how to password protect all of this stuff. Next time I do that, I will absolutely lock it all off into EPN people only. But I didn't do that this time. Here we go. Oh, what time is it? 2 minutes. Well, I'm not even going to get to the thing. I think we have to call it there because it's going to take me forever to get to the Kobayashi Maru. But that was a pretty damn solid show. Thank you all for watching. I had a ton of fun today, and thanks again to Steve Tilley. We'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new EP live for you. And you know, we've got tons of other content for you to watch. And if you dig it, don't forget to hit subscribe, that little bell, and if you're so inclined, that sponsorship button too. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.